very good morning to you. Thank you so very much for staying with us here on Global Television. And we are always delighted to welcome you to Global Morning. It's Tuesday, the 26th day in the month of May 2026. I'm Uyi Agmofwegbe. My colleague Priscilla Obasi will come on screen shortly. But as always, we're grateful for gift of life and, of course, again, to reaffirm our gratitude to you for that decision to always stay with us here on the program. It's quite a promising day, no doubt about that, but as always, what we do with this gift of life is all up to us. Today is loaded. It's going to be interactive, it's going to be engaging, who knows, maybe a bit controversial in the middle, all thanks to political developments in our country. And speaking of which, we understand that the ADC spent the whole night, in the manner of speaking, putting together the results from its primary election from across the country. Chiefly, the goal is to determine who becomes the presidential flag bearer. Some people will say ticket holder of the party. Of course, the ADC, for many months up until this point, has been touted as the major opposition party to the ruling All Progressives Congress. But that dynamic in particular appears to be changing, and that change, as it turns out, is happening real fast because the NDC on its part is also making efforts to not only have a horse in the race, but to ensure that it becomes the frontline opposition political party. Incidentally, we are now witnessing primary elections within political parties, with the APC having also concluded its own election, the presidential primary, just barely 48 hours ago, with President Bola Tinubu emerging the flag bearer, the presidential flag bearer of the party. That is, we wait to see what happens with the governorship end of things within the APC, and of course, what other political parties will also be doing in this regard. And this will be a litmus test for what we will likely see in 2027, because whatever happens within the fold of political parties is always a pointer to what Nigerians and indeed the world should expect during the general election cycle. Priscilla Obasi, it's good to see you as always. You're looking all poppy this morning, from your glasses to your jacket. You make me wish I had something with maybe a complement of purple on this morning. But they say purple is not for men, it's actually well, purple and pink.
I don't know who made that rule.
About purple and pink for men?
Purple particularly. I can understand pink for men. Pink not being
you say that's weird.
But purple signifies royalty.
Oh, it does now?
It does. So I really cannot understand, because I remember when I was trying to put a birthday celebration for my son, and I wanted to put purple balloons,
right.
And the woman said, no, purple is not for men. When did purple become for women? So
right.
I think we need an update to these colors and
to see who is setting the rules.
Who is setting the rules? But it's great to be here. I mean,
but speaking of colors, by the way, I used to know someone who could wear a pink shirt, a green tie, and a purple suit.
Well,
on television. Would you say that's weird?
The thought of it already sounds weird.
So I will never introduce you to this person.
I can imagine how it looks. It's not just about the fact that I don't have a problem with a man wearing pink, by the way. I don't feel, because men wear pink. You can put on your baby pink.
I do baby pink shirts with maybe a purple tie, and it goes well.
It goes well. So the fact that people say don't wear pink, I think it's just for boys and not for men.
For boys and not for men. All right. So again, it's a pleasure to be doing this with you.
Yeah.
This morning it's a Tuesday, and so much is happening. And yesterday we understand that the African Democratic Congress (ADC) has started its primaries. Yes, of course it's a 3-horse race. You have former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. You have former Minister of Transportation, who also had been Governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Chibike Amechi, and of course Mr. Ayatudin, who is also someone who has an ambition to become president. So
we have 3 of them.
3 of them.
Did you mention former Vice President?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, 3 of
them. 3
them.
of them, right.
on the ballot or on the race.
There are people who said, look, this is a one-way thing. There was no need for direct primaries. The ticket should just be given to the former vice president to run with it. But then we're hearing that these three gentlemen have said, look, there's no going back. Let's go to the field. We should all go prove our mental.
Let's test our popularity.
Right, exactly. So don't tell me Priscilla is the best man for the job and then we just concede. Let us go to the field and see who the best man is.
Unfortunately, with the whole happenings in our political space, I mean, ever since the likes of Peter Obi and Kwankwaso left the ADC, I don't think we've heard so much news in the ADC. This is supposed to be trendy. Like, maybe it's just
so you said it's
knowledgeable within those that are really following politics. Those that would come out and say, I am interested. But for the average Nigerian that is just looking at, that's just about what to eat, how to get themselves fixed in such economy.
The basic things.
The basic things of life. I don't think it's something that really comes as news to them. The interest of Nigerians have tilted, has shifted from the ADC to the NDC, right? And that is the reality. I know a lot of politicians came out, or political analysts came out to also predict this. I, for one, also predicted it. So it's quite interesting. I think it's a test of democracy. It shows that democracy is working at this point. Yeah, it is working.
So this is a good thing.
It's a good thing. Well, I don't know if it's a good thing for the opposition. It is definitely not a good thing.
When you say the opposition, you mean all the political parties in the opposition?
Across all political parties, I don't think this is a good sign for, opposition politics, especially those that have the hopes that, they intend to defeat the ruling party in 2027. It's not a good signal, if you ask me. And I don't know what comes out of this primaries, but one thing is sure. It's either these Nigerian politicians are at that point where they understand the political space. Now it has shifted from political figures or key political figures to what the people are saying, to the popular demand, from the people. I understand there's also a place to consider the grassroots, the nooks and crannies of Nigeria, people that are not on social media. Those ones are still there. I mean, they're still they are still available to be harvested when it comes to Nigerian politics. But at the same time, I think it's dicey. Yes, it's dicey because we are not going to only consider the elites. Nigerians that are aware, Nigerians that are on social media. Their voices seem to be loud, but they are not the total population of Nigeria. So for those in the ADC right now, it would be a thing of, also going to the grassroots to see how they can inform people. Because considering the primaries I have seen so far, I have not seen any social media user, those popular people, participate. The NDC did not have a primaries. I don't know if they did across other political positions, but for presidential candidates, there was no primaries, right? It was majorly a consensus.
That's for the NDC?
For the NDC, yeah. So I haven't seen those key political figures. I mean those activists. I mean the likes of the Randy Peters, that is also coming out for...
for a House of Representatives seats in Cross River State.
The likes of Aisha Yusufu.
Who is running for his Senate seat here at the
FCT. So I've not seen primaries. I've not seen the NDC primaries.
Incidentally, they've done their screening, so we're waiting to see how those will turn out.
So I believe, personally, I'm looking forward to see how that process comes out. I'm looking forward to see if they would have people come oppose them, because that is still politics. It's still
when you say people come oppose them, like if the tickets will be competitive?
Yes, if the tickets will be competitive within the party. And what comes out of that very, process. Yes. Nigerians are looking forward to that. So it's beyond just 2027. Right now we're at the primary level where everybody's trying to put their house together and present, credible candidates, someone that Nigerians will accept. So we cannot really say so much until we see the candidates across the different parties. Like I said, most Nigerians right now on social media have their eyes fixed on the NDC and the APC. I'm talking about the APC primary. Somebody called it a skit. The presidential primary.
Is it because of the figure? You think 10.99 million is too huge? You think it's outrageous?
A lot of people are speculating that it could have been,
Content. No,
content.
No, because you mentioned skits, so
are you saying that our president was involved in the content? Well,
no, but President Tinubu did content going into 2023.
Content creation.
He did that, and it works for him because ultimately it was part of the conversation leading into the election proper in 2023.
Okay, so maybe it's looking like content, right? Because well, it could have been that the APC thought it was wise to make this thing contestable, and they looked around and say, who would be the best actor to help us?
So they brought my brother Osifo from Edo State to do that.
I know it. Where was the Edo people? Like again,
because we never say never. We believe even though the president has the clout, he has the presence, he has the charisma, he has the resources and the connections and the structures. There's no rule that says you can't go head to head, and he did.
Okay, it can be an open door for him because I saw him shaking hands with the president at the end of the day. So
now you're talking.
But should I say congratulations to him?
By all means, please, because even the president congratulated him for his courage.
Congratulations to your brother.
Thank you.
But it's interesting.
Right.
It was interesting to watch. Well, our fingers are still crossed. We see how things unfold in the political space.
So much to talk about politics here, as always, this morning on the program. But we understand, as usual, that we will have to also strike a balance, all right, between what happens in the parties themselves, that's internal politicking of the parties, and what we will see in 2027. All of these are pointers in that direction. We'll take a quick break. The rest of the program returns shortly. Do stay with us.
All right, as you know, we do our very best to give you the best of ideas for morning food. But this time around, no morning food, breakfast. Mr. Yusuf's maybe hungry.
No, there's a clear difference. But of course, yes, I work hard, so I deserve to eat.
You deserve to eat, right? Thank you. Okay, so let's go on this very short break here as we bring to you taste and texture to inspire your breakfasts. Stay with us.
Hello everyone and welcome to Taste and Texture. Today we're going to prepare a delicious Nigerian delicacy and we will be demonstrating it from scratch. Our delicacy on this episode is beans cake and pap. I am your creative chef, Saadatu Garba. Beans cake, popularly known as akara, and pap is one of the traditional breakfast options in a Nigerian household. Akara and pap is a hearty morning meal for most homes because of its light and filling nature. It is a delicacy made from beans, while pap is made from maize. I hope you enjoy the recipe. Ingredients: beans, red bell peppers and scotch bonnets, onions, vegetable oil, salt and water. The ingredients for pap include pap, water, canned or powdered milk, and sugar. To prepare, wash and peel your beans. Add your beans, onions and peppers into the blender. Add a little water and blend till smooth. After blending, transfer into a bowl and use a mixer or a spatula to beat the mixture to make it fluffy. Add some onions to your oil to make it flavorful. Fry your akara in batches until golden brown and transfer to strain the excess oil. To make your pap, put the raw pap into a bowl. Add a little bit of cold water, then mix. Boil your water and quickly add into the mixture while turning to avoid lumps. Add your milk and sugar and your pap is ready. That's it on today's episode of Taste and Texture, and I hope you will try this recipe on your own. I'll see you again on the next creative recipe. This is Saadatu Garba saying take care of yourself.
Well, akara has to be Nigeria's number one
breakfast
idea.
I totally agree with you.
Whoever brought this into existence
right.
needs a Guinness World Record.
Maybe we can start by handing them flowers.
Yeah, we need to give them their flowers. Unfortunately, we can't trace them, but
Right.
I mean,
Whoever did that.
it always saves the day.
Mm,
Either you
does.
make it yourself, or you just look for that street woman that
Within the neighborhood.
They're always close. Have you stayed on a street that doesn't? Have you ever lived in a neighborhood where you can't find an Akara woman?
I haven't. If I found one, I probably won't do 6 months. Because that's not a good omen in Nigeria.
I mean, you might just say, I have the skill to make it, but there'll always be that day where
Right.
everyone gets tired.
When you need help.
You just need help, and that woman always comes
Right.
handy for us. But we need Akara men too. I got you.
I'm not going to join issues with my political opponents. I refuse to join issues with them. All right. Well, speaking of issues, life is complicated, no doubt about that. Every day we have to do our own heavy lifting individually and collectively. And Ramsey Enoch Agbo is the guy who helps us make the journey a little easier here on Heart to Heart Inspirational.
Hello and welcome to another beautiful day right here. It is Heart to Heart Inspirational. And of course, my name is Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Your voice matters. That's what we want to look at today. Your voice matters. Okay. It doesn't matter. When we say your voice matters, what are we talking about? Is it that you are talkative? Is it that you are loquacious? Is it that you are a lingua franca? You can speak a lot of languages. Is that what we mean when we say your voice matters? A lot of voices have gone down the drain today. A lot of good voices, all right? When we say your voice matters, are we talking about the fact that you can sing or you are a poet? No, it's beyond that. Let me give you something right now. Silence has cost the world many solutions. Somewhere, someone needed your voice, but you never knew. But one of the things that have stopped a lot of people, a lot of voices from being heard, a lot of opinions from being shared, a lot of talents from being manifested is fear. Fear of what will happen if it doesn't go my way. My voice, are you sure my idea is going to count? Are you sure my opinion matters? Your voice is needed at several places for several reasons, but fear convinced you to stay quiet. You see what fear does? What is fear? In the actual sense of it, let me define fear for you. Fear is spelled F-E-A-R. Let me give you the acronym of fear. Fear is false evidence appearing to be real. That is false evidence appearing real. F for fear, E for evidence, A for appearing, then R for real. It is not real, but it's appearing to be real. You see, you've been quiet because of fear. You've been quiet because of maybe you feel you're going to be embarrassed, whereas you have a very good idea. Some people can never share their ideas. All right. I'm not saying you should share your vision to dream killers. That's not what I'm saying. Please, let's get this right, because I tell people all the time, it's not everybody you share your dreams with. If you are in doubt, please go and ask Joseph, his own brother. You remember what they did to him. I'm not saying you should share your dream with every Dick and Harry. Your plans, go and share your plans with everyone you see on the road. In fact, people, it's not even good to talk too much. Anywhere you go. You are just like a typewriter. 200 words in 1 minute. Habba. That's not the kind of voicing, speaking that I'm talking about. All right? Your voice carries story. It carries your experience. And it carries your perspective. And a lot of people will tell you that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. A lot of people cannot be helped because, number one, they don't know the right people to even talk to. A lot of people are talking to the wrong persons per time. First of all, you need to know where and when your voice is supposed to be heard. You need to know where and when you need to speak. You don't speak everywhere. You don't talk everywhere. You should not be predictable. When people see you, they should not say, you don't they come. We know. Then before you know what is happening, you landed the venue and 200 words per minute. And you're not even making sense with what you're saying. It's embarrassing. That's not the kind of voice that I'm talking about. The voice that comes with quality. The voice that comes with perspective to every situation. The voice that comes with an experience that someone can learn from and become successful in life. A voice that carries stories that stands the test of time. Do you know that you go to some places and you share your story or maybe an experience or a perspective and somebody catch their vision? Yes. Somebody might just be around there. This is somebody that has been thinking, all right, of what to do in life. What do I even need to do in life? What am I in life for? Some people are even thinking suicide because they don't know what to do. Life doesn't mean anything to them. Then you come there, you begin to share stories, you begin to share testimonies, you begin to say some kind of positive things, and these people begin to realize themselves. They begin to discover themselves, because in every word that you speak, somebody is hearing, and every word that you hear per time have an impact in your life, either negatively or positively. And that's the reason I tell people all the time, it's not everyone you listen to. Be careful what you hear all the time. Be careful who you give your ears to. Be careful who you share your moments with. What you have survived qualifies you to speak. What you've learned position you to help other people. You don't need to be a perfect person to be impactful. You don't need perfection to be impactful. That thing you are hiding, that story you are hiding, that idea you are hiding, that inspiration you are hiding could be something that can change somebody's life forever. A lot of us are supposed to be making impacts with our voices, but we are hidden. We are trampled in fear. You need authenticity, as a matter of fact. Let me give you an instance. This is just an illustration. A candle, we all know what a candle is. A candle doesn't just lose light by lighting another candle. All right? You get that. You light a candle, for instance, then you use that candle to light another candle. The first candle that you use in lighting the second candle does not lose its light. That is impact there. It has made impact, but it never affected it in any way. Now, your voice doesn't diminish others. It multiplies impact. That is, I'm talking about a positive voice, all right? A positive voice. Okay, there are some people that if they come and they speak, you hear wisdom. You spend 2 minutes with some persons. When they want to leave, you say, you'll be feeling bad. I wish this person can stay with me a little more time. Because these are people that their voices multiply impact. Maybe you knew something before. Why am I saying this? Let me establish this. I'm saying all of this so that you know the kind of people you listen to. You know the kind of voices you listen to. And you on your own part should know that your voice needs to be heard. Except you know the import of it. You will just keep quiet where you are supposed to speak. You are not making impact. It doesn't diminish you. If you make impact, it doesn't affect you. But then it lightens somebody's world. Maybe to somebody that is downcasted, somebody that is about committing suicide, somebody who is feeling lonely, just a word from you can make somebody's day. Like I was telling someone some times back, just a smile, good morning, how you doing, can make someone feel big. Exchange of smile. By the time you smile to someone and the person smiles back, it's half a way of making people feel good, of setting people's day, a good pace for people's day. Stop minimizing your stories. Speak, even when your voice is shaky. Share what you know now, all right? Share what you know now. Because maybe by the time you want to speak it the next time, it may not be as valuable as it is when that inspiration comes. All right? When you have the leading to do it, go ahead and do it. Maybe you want to start a business, for instance, and there is someone around you you need to speak to. Don't hold it back. If you have the leading to speak to the person, go ahead and do it. Your voice, okay? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, in case you don't know. All right? Your voice is someone else's breakthrough, but you may not know that. Okay? Your voice, your own voice, is somebody else's breakthrough. Open your mouth, speak the truth, speak it out. The world is waiting for your sound. The world is waiting for your manifestation. The world is waiting for you to let that thing out of you. Especially when you know it's inspiring. Especially when you know it's going to stop someone from maybe committing suicide. Because a lot of people are confused in this generation. They don't even know what to do. And that's why you have a lot of photocopy. We have few originals. A lot of people are duplicates of other people's ideas, of other people's lifestyle, of other people's opinion. But you got a voice. Your voice can shape somebody's destiny forever. What are you waiting for? What are you scared of? Fear has stopped a lot of people from doing so many things, from taking a particular step they need to take. But today, I want to charge you. I want to inspire you. I want to speak to your heart that your voice, there are people today. Let me say this. I think I need to say this because you don't know who is listening to what you're saying. In that meeting, in that gathering, all right, you don't know if your destiny helper is there. Maybe a contribution that you want to make as you're trying to make sense on time, it will give the person by your side, all right, an inspiration, an acumen, okay, to become what they have been planning to be. Your voice might be a witness to what the Spirit is telling them, to what their mind is telling them, to what their instinct is telling them. So speak it out. Stop holding it back. Congratulations, everyone, listening to the sound of my voice right now, because you are a success going somewhere to happen, a voice that the world will reckon with. And as expectation of a lot of creature is the manifestation of people like you. Go, manifest, voice it out, say it, the truth. You should be known with saying the truth all the time. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you very much for still being here with us. Right now we go to the newspaper review segment of the breakfast show, and we're starting with the Guardian newspaper. Let us start with the star story here, which is on page 6. It says, court ruling, INEC's appeal leaves opposition aggrieved politicians in limbo. INEC's appeal leaves opposition aggrieved politicians in limbo. I don't know if you want to say something about that.
You see, okay, this is the Guardian newspaper. It says INEC's appeal leaves opposition aggrieved politicians in limbo. You see, the thing is, a federal high court, led by Justice Umar, had delivered a judgment invalidating some aspects of the timeline of INEC's guideline for the election.
Okay, that has to do with the guideline.
Right, because part of the provisions in the guideline is that by 10th of May, all political parties would have submitted their databases, members' information, and all of that. In other words, by the end of day, May 10, Priscilla cannot move from party A to B, or you cannot move from party B to A. That window would have been short in terms of candidacy. However, in membership, yes. But the challenge now is there was a court order, again, like I mentioned, by the Federal High Court here just a few days ago, last week, saying that, look, that won't work. Because if you are going by the Electoral Act, which of course supersedes whatever guidelines or advisory INEC will come up with, it is clearly stated that it is a certain number of months before election proper. And if you were to go by that, it means that all the political parties have up till September to submit this information that you're requesting. However, INEC has now gone to court to say we have two prayers. That's the appeal court. They say we have two prayers. First of all, we want a stay of execution of this judgment by Justice Umar's Federal High Court. Second, we are also saying that this position should be revisited in such a way that this guideline by the Commission becomes enforced. That's what we are right now. So the question is, are we still going to stick with the original, the order by the Federal High Court, or are we now going to freeze the possibility of these political parties being able to, politicians being able to switch camps and things like that? But what we do understand by law is that once a court, whether it is the High Court or the Appeal Court, has delivered a judgment, that judgment stays in force until it is set aside or overturned by a higher court. So if that was the case, it simply means that until the Appeal Court sets aside this court by the Federal High Court, it means that political parties and politicians have till September to submit the databases and other relevant details of their members.
Oh, quite an interesting.
So that's why it is a matter of limbo for agreed politicians and those in opposition.
I saw a lot of politicians jubilating on the internet some days ago, basically because of this news.
Right.
And prior to that time, there were speculations that even River State Governor, current River State Governor, would move to the NDC. Of course, he came out to debunk all of that.
Right.
But people are still speculating. So, what comes out of this? The likes of Ned Nwoko too is saying, I don't agree with this result. People have come out to, challenge the result of the primaries.
That's in Delta North?
Delta North, yes. So, I don't know. I really do hope for the sanity of our political space and our elections that this whole thing is not overturned, because if it is, it means that we're back to square one. Was that primary?
So you're saying, in your own assessment, the judgment by the Federal High Court was a welcome development?
I don't know if it was. I don't think it's a good one for us right now, because, like I said, if we have to go with that judgment, it will mean that politicians are free to move around and switch camps. Switch camps, and it will also give them the freedom to start to make parties start from square one again. Nigerians starting to, look for who to support again, and all of that mental and emotional overload. It's a whole lot, right? So we actually thought we had gotten to that point where, this thing is beginning to, be settled. We are now moving from the primaries, party politics, to the general elections, 2027 January. Right? Well, with this, it will stir fresh drama. It will cause a lot of new chaos, if you ask me. And of course, the politicians will be happy with it, no doubt.
Because it serves their interest.
It serves their interest. But I don't know. Nigeria is a funny place at the end of the day. So let's see what comes out. Let's go to the next story, which is just below the nameplate, above the star story, top left corner, and it says, opposition says Tinubu's 10.9 million votes claim doesn't reflect political reality. Well, I think it's time for opposition to focus on their party at this point. Details on page.
And leave the ruling party
leave the
alone.
ruling party alone. Nigeria's economy grows 3.89% in quarter one as electricity contracts by 15.3%, and that business story is brought to you on page 19. Nigeria signs MOU with Turkey for solid minerals development. It has a picture of the Minister of Solid Minerals, Dele Alaki, and details on page 3. Next story below the star story, it says, Eid al-Kabir, military assures residents of safety amidst Boko Haram, ISWAP attack fears. Details on page 9. Well, Salah celebration is tomorrow. And next, we're already seeing scarcity of transportation. I had a little hassle this morning.
This morning, right?
Yeah, but it's a season of celebration, and we hope everything goes well. We're prayerful, and we're hopeful that
nobody also takes undue advantage.
Exactly, we're not hearing bad news of any sort. AON debunks owing NCAA 6N to airlines collection of 5% TSC. Story on page 22. Hajj, Nigerians move to Arafah as unrest, high fuel costs push ram prices to 1.2 million naira. That's cheap, 1.2 million. I've heard people say, even as the price has gone up to as high as 2 million, 2.5
for ram.
For ram. So it will now depend on where you're buying and the size of the ram.
But you see, things are moving real fast. Again, in terms of the economy and cost of living overall, right? I wasn't born last night, really, but I know I was, if you like, aware enough, maybe just leaving primary school, when so our landlord, as it then was, passed, and the children were talking about, planning the funeral and all of that.
Is it an Edo man?
No, it was an Edo man.
Oh, an Edo man.
Yes, and the next thing you know is the issue of ram comes in. Cow comes in, music, food, and stuff like that. And I think they were debating something around 50,000 for cow.
Oh, wow.
Right.
As far back as.
That was a long time ago.
Okay.
But I look back now, I'm hearing ram is 1.2. I'm like, is it cow ram or the ram as we know it?
The ram, I like I said, I think this is still relatively cheap because
at 1.2.
At 1.2, because what I've heard, I've not gone to price any though, but I know someone else. I think I was on transit, and someone was saying, I went to price, and I was told 2 million, 1.5, 1.8, 2.5 thereabouts.
But overall, above 1 million.
Above 1 million, you can't get ram less than $1 million now. Except
like Juma and I was saying yesterday, it's a safe, this kind of situation puts families or households in a place where they have to choose between buying a ram and paying tuition, between buying a ram and paying rent,
exactly.
Buying a ram and offsetting medical bills, and that's obviously not a good place to be.
And people are buying the ram. You see them, they still make good sales. So who are the people buying the ram? People that don't buy just one.
I think we need to investigate that by way of a report, right?
Yeah, people. There's someone that says, I don't think it's too expensive compared to what we have,
Yeah, I think I saw that in Zarao's report.
Yeah, that's what I saw it too. So at the end of the day, what is the secret? Some people will say cut soap for me.
Do we still have soap?
People have soap. Okay, the next story. NISER predicts 5.02% GDP growth, single-digit inflation rate by 2028. And that details on page 3. Sorry, I beg your pardon, page 8. You look at 2028 as if it's in some 10 years to come.
Right.
You blink your eye and you open it.
But just less than 2 years away.
Less than 2 years away.
Right.
That's Traore's military alternative to flawed democracy. You find that story on page 16. Those are our headlines for the Guardian newspaper. Do well to get yourself informed. Of course, by getting a copy, go to the next paper, which is the Nation newspaper.
All right, so we'll begin with the headline top left of the front page of the Nation newspaper. Now, it says, why court favors DSS in defamatory suit against Serap. Monopoint Group launches 3 billion naira innovation hubs in universities, and then next to that, 1.5 million pilgrims kick off Hajj on Mount Arafat. Details are on page 27. Wike knocks Fubara for picking nomination form on page 6. But he said it was a good thing that he stepped down in the case of the APC. That's part of the agreements that they reached with him, of course, alongside some political elders in River State, was that he would not stand for re-election. But then we are hearing that the governor is considering an alternative platform to run on. So how successful or otherwise that will be, we're not so sure. But it looks like the governor is still in the fight as it stands right now. But I think for Wike, the primary concern is you can't get the gubernatorial ticket of the APC in River State, which of course we understand has now will now end up in the hands of Chinda. Yes, Chinda, who happens to be a member of the House of Representatives. In fact, it doubles as the minority leader in the House of Representatives. According to Wike, from our report yesterday, Kingsley Chinda has experience with the executive, he has experience with the legislature, therefore he's the right man for the job. And we hope Wike does not fubara him, or that he does not fubara, Wike himself.
Well, Rivers, the whole politics in Rivers is really, I'll use the word crazy at this point.
I thought you were looking for the word messy.
It's messy at the same time. And I'm wondering, if Ubara had such an agreement, why did he move to the APC? Why?
So you're saying he got off on the wrong foot?
He was. If indeed there was such an agreement,
right,
there was no point moving into the APC. If you wanted to run, you'd cook up a strong opposition and make it strong. In River State, for crying out loud, you are the governor. Yes, I know that it's not just about you being the governor. It's about how you hold the grassroots. It was a time to start working on that. If you didn't hold it so strongly before the whole drama, you strategize. You would strategize. You would beat the other guy to his game. You would start working on it, and get yourself away from the whole noise making and people pushing you left, right, center, and do the work. It's about how you can hold the grassroots in River State. That was the part. That was the point to start the work. But all the while, he thought moving to the ruling party would actually save him. It's a shortcut, and at the end of the day, see where it led to. So if Fubara decides to walk away right now, posterity would see him as a weak man.
So he has to go the whole hog.
I don't know. I don't know the path he wants
to
go.
So you probably are suggesting this is a dilemma for the governor.
It is. Maybe the most honorable thing, if you ask me, for him right now is to just look for a way to get compensated, maybe by the next in the next administration. By way of appointment? By way of appointment. I don't know how that will work out. I don't know if that would even work out, because I think Wike is on a mission to embarrass him. So even if a Tinubu says, "Oh, don't worry, I got your back," Wike has so much influence on the president. It's obvious, we see it. So would that even work out? It's a dicey one for a man.
A dicey one for a man.
It is. Let's see.
I need to come clap back. This is not just going to end like this. But let's move ahead and talk about things beyond men and women. All right. Here it says, Atiku leads Amechi Ayatollah in ADC shadow election. Sounds like we're in Britain now. Those details are on page 3. Again, Atiku leads Amechi Ayatollah in ADC shadow election.
How is that possible?
Well, it's Atiku for a reason. It's the former vice
Okay,
president.
I thought it was Amechi leading.
No, it's Atiku. Yeah, if I had seen Amechi leading, I think I would have stayed on this headline longer.
Okay.
But then when I saw
Of
Atiku,
course,
somewhere on the left side of my head, I told myself, well, there's no need
at least,
to stress this.
Amechi has, displayed some level of his level of popularity. I think that brought him back to the limelight.
Amechi, right?
Yes, he was almost forgotten in the
Right.
political scene.
Then now he's in our faces again.
Right now he's in our faces. So it's a good one for him. Win or lose, it's still a win.
Right. Well, here it says INEC appeals verdict voiding timeline on party register with one rider following that story. Electoral agency asks courts to stay for stay of execution. All right. Well, let's see how the courts will respond to that prayer. APC begins post-primary poll reconciliation. This is going to be a long walk to freedom, as they say, because
there's a zebra coalition now. There's no longer a rainbow.
No, I think rainbow was not broad enough to embrace all of these elements, so you have to make it zebra.
So rainbow is not enough. Rainbow has so many colors.
Well,
zebra has 2 colors.
yes, those colors are usually in one location. You can't see the rainbow from every part
I'm
of the
looking
world.
at black, the aggrieved versus the peaceful. That's when white signifies peace.
Yeah,
and
black
signifies
conflict, disputes.
So conflict versus disputes, and I don't know, coming together. Or we're once white, now we're black.
But this looks like it's going to be a very long night for the APC, right?
It's going to be, because I don't see this reconciliation working in any way. It can't. It can't at this point.
And to think that this is happening across several states is even what makes it more concerning, right? Well, what can we say? We move further down a little. By the way, that headline has a picture of the national chairman of the APC. It says here on the foot of the front page, it says, Kwara to deploy drones against bandits, terrorists. Well, that's long overdue. Wednesday, Thursday are Eid holidays. Yes, the federal government has officially declared that for Muslim faithful. Nigeria, Turkey sealed deal on solid minerals. Turns out those are all the details from the Nation newspaper this morning. Our next port of call, by the way, read up details please, because stories are very big today and newspapers are populated with them. Our next port of call is the New Telegraph newspaper.
All right, thank you very much. The New Telegraph has its first story above the nameplate. I mean, the very first item there, and it says FY25, 13 listed banks grow assets by 16.4% to 235.87 trillion naira. Read up that detail. Q1 2026 services agri sector boosts Nigeria's GDP by 3.89%. That detail is right there on page 7. To the Star story, security alert. Terrorists planning to hit civilian targets during Eid al-Kabir, military warns. Details on page 4, 3, 4, and 29. Some riders to that says assures of comprehensive security arrangement, suspends mountain prayers, presidency tells religious bodies in Kwara, Kogi, NSCDC deploys 2,480 personnel in Kwara, federal government declares tomorrow, Thursday, public holidays, Nigerians among over 1.5 million pilgrims in Mina for Hajj. Read up details. Next story. ASU threatens fresh strike over delayed 2025 pact implementation. We all saw this coming. Details on page 2, 5, 14, and 16. I'll try to get in touch with the ASU president to see if he can come help us clarify this very news. But it has been
taking so long.
It has been rumored in the academics or the academia or in the academy, the education sector. I mean, for over, this is May, so they had this agreement sometime in January.
Right.
It has taken February, March, April, and now May to implement. Whatever the reason, I do not know. Because that very meeting felt reassuring.
Right.
It ended in a very, peaceful departure. Everybody was happy with each other. Bruises were healed. It looked,
or it seemed so.
I mean, if anyone had any hurts, that very meeting was able
was
to
an avenue to just ventilate.
People left being healed. I mean, they felt relieved. They felt better. You know, when you go and start to price houses because you know something is coming.
Right.
That was the hope that lecturers were given. Don't worry, something's going to hit your account the next month.
Assurance 2025 or 2026.
Assurance 2026. And we've seen APC politicians come to brag with that same meeting and the results that came out of that meeting. How the president is working, how the education sector has taken a new route,
right.
How it has been transformed. Do you understand? It has become a campaign, one of the campaign, what do I call it now? One of the tools for campaign. One of President Tinubu's promises that he met. In 2026, the education sector has been at the forefront of the APC campaign strategy. And to see this on the news right now, what does it tell us? Is it that there were more important issues? Is it that one person was given the money and it did not get to the others? Is it that what is taking so long? We have seen the Senate approve loans, approve every kind of new laws that comes to meet it. Right. Since January till now, and then why is this taking so long? What is responsible for the delay? I think the federal government has a lot to answer. They have a lot. They need to explain. Even if eventually that money is paid today, right. We need to understand why it delayed. We need to know who
will be held liable.
Exactly.
At what point was there a jam?
Exactly. Somebody needs to just come tell the public. Right. Whatever it is that has happened behind the scene, because it is not adding up for me. Next story, NCAA temporarily suspends no pay, no service directive, clarifies aviation charges. And that detail is brought to you on page 3. 2027, Tinubu's 10 million votes manufactured, and that's coming from Atiku. Guys, just face your party. 3 principal officers, 9 Lagos Assembly members fail APC primaries. Details on page 3 and 27. Next story, INEC appeals judgment voiding timelines for 2027. This is the battle of, do I call it institutions? Because it is not INEC against one person. It's not INEC against one party. It's INEC against political parties. And it's going to be a tough one. 6th stay of execution. Rep warns against deregistering ADC Accord APP. Ebola outbreak worsens. WHO calls for urgent response. Details on page 4. FDA gets approval for once in a week insulin, and that is coming from a study. That detail is brought to you on page 30. Those are your headlines for the New Telegraph. The next point of call is the Nigerian News Direct.
All right, thank you, Priscilla. I will begin with the very big one on the front page of it. Here it says Nigeria's GDP growth declines to 3.89% in first quarter 2026. That's according to the National Bureau of Statistics. A handful of headlines is on the right corner of the front page. It says, real reason Tinubu keeps borrowing. That's according to Minister of Works, Umai. I think is in a good place to also explain, because the bulk of the borrowing, or at least a chunk of it, goes to infrastructure, especially as it has to do with the coastal, Lagos-Calabar coastal highway, which has become so controversial. All right, federal government declares 2-day public holiday for Eid al-Adha, right, as it should be. Fubara should not have obtained nomination forms, that's according to Nyesom Wike, says governor breached agreement with president. That's on page 16. Lagos State government disburses 4.6 billion naira welfare support to 11,991 vulnerable households. ASU warns of strike action over unimplemented agreement. That's the point that Priscilla was just making a while ago. All right, those details are on page 2 for you. Turns out those are all the headlines from the Nigerian News Direct this morning. Please look at details and stay informed. All right, we're looking at, well, I think we have 3 headlines from the Nigerian Tribune, which is our next point of call this morning.
Okay, the Nigerian Tribune is the next point of call. Okay, let's start with the very first story, top left corner, and it says, INEC appeals election guidelines judgment, 6th stay of execution. Details on page 15. Nigeria's GDP growth rate slows to 3.89%, and that's coming from the NBS, the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. Bandits invade Kwara community, raise Emir's palace, abduct 10. Sad. Details on page 26. Those are your headlines for the Nigerian Tribune. And the next point of call is the Punch newspaper.
A Punch newspaper, which incidentally is our last on the program this morning. 2 headlines I just sent to the name masts of the Punch. Top of it first says, Fubara's exit from governorship race aligns with peace pact. That's Wike. However, like we mentioned, the former governor himself, Nyesom Wike, now the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, also faulted the initial move by the governor to have purchased the APC governorship form. Eid, federal government declares holidays, steps up security nationwide. Dangote faces price war as NNPC backs fuel import. With 3 riders here, NNPC urges courts to dismiss Dangote's suit. Marketers back competition, warn against monopoly risk. Refinery says import licenses undermine local production. INEC appeals ruling voiding primaries. That's on page 18. Federal government cancels $717 million World Bank power loan amid blackouts. I mean, what have we done with all the loans collected in the name of upgrading or fixing power problems in this country? So it was a good thing to cancel that out, because that would have amounted to over 1 trillion naira. Again, bumping our debt stock, which is already not in a good place at all.
Well, some people will say the monies were borrowed for elections. That is
yes, especially when you look at the barrage of loans. Right?
Well, I mean, if the president can actually decide to use all those monies to solve
insecurity and power,
would gladly give him another term.
Right.
You don't need to pay anyone. You don't need to do any campaigns. You don't need to. Nigerians can unanimously say, "Oh, please, we can even go to the streets and protest and we want it Tinubu back." So.
Right.
If that money can be used again to the betterment of Nigerians, you wouldn't need to waste it on maybe, I'm not saying he's trying to buy votes, but I know elections can be expensive.
All right. Whether it's funding INEC, or getting to increase your chances,
or campaigning, or whatever it is.
Doesn't come cheap.
It doesn't come cheap. So the cheapest right now, or the best route, which would ultimately be better for Nigeria, is to use those monies to make Nigeria work.
All right. Okay, well, that's Priscilla there. Hopefully she becomes a special advisor on strategy someday soon. All right. Well, at the bottom now, we have 3 headlines as well. Bottom right, bandits kidnap Kwara monarch's family, attack police station. This is looking very nasty by the day. Police say there's the plan to deploy drones. We hope that happens real quick and desired results are also seen. My brother's beheading haunts me daily, or your teacher sibling. You know, this was one story I didn't read because I couldn't find a nerve to do so. But you can read up on page 3. And lastly, Southwest insecurity Igboho awaits federal government nod to launch outfits. Yes, the man says he's waiting for the federal government to give him the go-ahead to fish out terrorists and other criminal elements in the southwest. Will that happen? Will it not happen? Well, context awaits you on page 12 of the Guardian news, the Punch newspaper today, I should say. Incidentally, those are all the papers we have for you on the program. Please, as always, we encourage you to always read up details for yourself. Don't just rely on the headlines alone, because the headlines can be superficial, and of course, they are very summarized in themselves. We'd like to again remind you that Global Television, as a broadcast media entity, or the team here on Global Morning, does not in any way contribute or influence these papers, whether the headlines or the details. All we do for you is bring you the headlines exactly as published by their respective publishers. We're taking a quick break. When we return, our first conversation will be on the road for you.
Hello and thank you for joining us. The rains are gradually becoming more organized across the country, and many areas have recorded a decent amount of rainfall over the past few days. So if you've been enjoying the cooler temperatures lately, well, there's more on the way. So now let's talk about what to expect heading into Tuesday. An overnight weather system is expected to trigger more thunderstorms across parts of Taraba, Adamawa, the Federal Capital Territory, Kaduna, parts of Nasarawa, Niger, and Kogi State. So if you live in any of this area, you may want to keep that umbrella nearby before heading out in the morning. And for those of you along the coastal and the southeastern region, including Lagos, parts of Oyo and Ogun State, expect a wet start of the day with widespread morning rains likely during the early hours. Don't be surprised if the skies stay cloudy for most of the morning. But that's not all. By late afternoon, another round of rainfall and thunderstorms are expected to redevelop, affecting parts of the northwest, including Gombe, Bauchi, parts of Adamawa, Taraba, much of the north central region, and several cities across the southern half of the country. So for what we're seeing, the atmosphere is becoming increasingly active, and more wet weather is expected to continue over the next couple of days. Stay weather aware, and I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.
Wake up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m., Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Let's take a look at some of the, well, if you like, developments coming out of the political space, especially following primaries conducted by political parties. In this case, in particular, we're turning our attention to the All Progressives Congress and how its own primaries in Edo State have been like in terms of outcome. As a matter of fact, we're hearing that Edo South Senatorial District itself has become a bone of contention between a certain Pastor Sagi Isayam, who is understood to be not just a chieftain of the party, but a founding member of the APC, and another gentleman, Engineer Honorable Ogbede Ihama, who was a two-time, or who is a former two-time member of the House of Representatives. As it stands today, that controversy, many believe, is reshaping the APC in the state, especially given the claim by some that both the governor and the minister of the FCT are playing a role or have played a role in what many believe is the emergence of Ogbede Moike Ihama as the senatorial ticket holder of the party in Edo South Senatorial District. This morning, we're joined by a special advisor to Governor Monday Okbewelu on digital resource, Collins Amadi Osaga. I would like to say a big thank you to you, Amadi, for taking our time this morning to join us on the program.
That is always a pleasure talking with you, and a good morning to every viewer across the world.
So let's begin. My colleague and I, Priscilla Obasi, will be hosting you for the next couple of minutes. But I want us to set this conversation rolling by first of all asking what are the factors that have made the APC primaries in Edo State a bit of a unique case? For some people, it is a matter of absence of transparency or fairness because they say, like you have in many other states, the governor has been very influential in, as it were, advancing certain individuals. Others say, well, the space has not been open enough, especially in light of the fact that you now have what you call the legacy members of the APC and those who just joined on account of recent defection. Please help us understand what's going
on. First, let me correct the notion. There is nothing like legacy member of APC anymore. For someone who has spent 2 years in a party, you cannot call those kind of people a newcomer or give them a name. So that notion is since dead and is far buried. So we have just one APC in Edo State, as almost everybody today in APC have had to have one time or the other in another party. We agree some people came or were there far before some other persons came, which was has always been there. It's normal. And for the primary in Edo, just as you have said, it's unique because the governor is an open man. Both in mind and in action is very open. He does not refrain anybody from participating at any level. So the door was actually open for those who feel they wouldn't want consensus. In some local governments, where people voluntarily on their own maybe haven't also be talked to. Like, okay, let one go, let there won't be pressure so that some persons will spend more money. Because there is no election, whether primary or not primary, that funds will be expended. So people would better understand how it could be. Okay, let my brother go and let me stay. But I think for the Edo South Senatorial District, what also makes it unique is the fact that it's more like it's a youth o'clock. Majority of people who are participants in all political parties today across the country, are youth, and youth have a say in most cases. And you understand that Engineer Ogbede Ihama is not just a youth, but a vibrant youth who have also committed himself, to the well-being of Edo South in different levels. Having been a two-time member of House of Representatives, the work he did as a member spoke for him. The school, the health center, the youth empowerment, a lot of the initiatives that he initiated while he was a member of House of Representatives was a statement that was very loud and could not be undermined. And that was why he was also one young man that even when you have a sitting governor and he was in the opposition, he has always won his election because he has organic followers. He had the strength to carry people along. So even people in another party, in most cases, were always supporting him to win election. So such a person who have consecutively run an election in Oredo local government for House of Representatives, and he was in the opposite party. He won all his elections, not having a sitting governor, not even having a sitting president in some cases. So you can imagine what it be to have such a member also vying for position. For anybody that want to face such a person at that time, you need almost all the pastors in Nigeria to anoint you and pour oil on your head, because it will not be an easy thing. Because the man have been tested before, even when he was not in government, he was able to model so many things. Now he now had the opportunity of being in government as a member House of Representatives. He then now used that office to impact on lives of majority of the people within the constituency. Every other local government wants him to strong, want to also benefit in his kind of gesture of leadership. So when he came to want to run for Edo South senatorial district as our flag bearer, it was hurrah, it was excitement everywhere. So by so doing, those who had to contest with him needed to do more work. But unfortunately, they didn't know, or maybe they weren't strategic enough to understand that this young man have a record that is unbeatable. But however, this is the game, this is the reality. It's one party. We have said, whether you declare yourself by yourself, you ask your friends to help you declare you, or what have you, the party is still very lenient about all of these issues so that we can move on as one party family. But now that the party has come and gone, members led by the National Working Committee to conduct the primary have conducted their primary, giving a certified result to the person the fees have won. Even the sitting senator came second, and you can see the way he has gone about his thing very diplomatically, not using anybody to insult anybody. He just, and for those men are the people you call spokesman. And when the opportunities again, you don't need to cry aloud to bring them in and also give them another assignment. But when it becomes that if I don't get it, heaven will fall, that is always the problem we have with some of our politicians who believe it has to be them and them. Even elder statesmen who are supposed to sit down and then send the younger ones still believe that what they felt was too small for them 20 years ago will still be within the ambit. No, if these things you felt about 20, 15 years ago, it was meant for younger people, not of your caliber. Why has it become something that is more cautious now? So please, I've seen people trying to create tension where they're supposed to be known, owing to the fact that the governor will not always be rasta, will not behave the way some other governor may act by using the vector of being a governor and being dictatorial. No, His Excellency is never dictatorial. He's humble, he's calm, but his calmness, his humility shouldn't be taken for granted by anyone. But we also thank God that in all of this, majority of the people know. That was why he saw that it was not violent. Even when some people went to a particular backyard or corner to want to say they are conducting their own themselves without being with the people that are voting not being verified or certified by their ward chairman accordingly. Nobody went there to attack anybody. No, because the governor believes in peace, believes in harmony, and believes that we must all come together. Yesterday may not be what we desire, but tomorrow can be better. So if you say because it's told me heaven will fall, then you are trying to lose it at the same time.
Okay, so it has been alleged that appointees are pressured to usually support maybe aspirant or lose their appointment. I really understand the place of loyalty in politics, but how do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line between loyalty and blind followership? At what point do we start to consider competency, especially when it's coming from appointees and even fellow party members? In your opinion, where would you draw that line? When do we start to choose competency over loyalty?
Thank you very much. You don't know people till you try them. You cannot really tell who is competent until you give an opportunity to trust such a person. And that was why you saw in the issue of Edo South. Edo South people have tested this other young man who is a youth who has been a member for 8 years in the House of Representatives. They saw his level of competence. Based on his competence, you can see the drive and the push. And not so mighty when you use the abstraction, appointee being pressure. Now, for you to be an appointee, there is an element of politicism in you. That means you are a politician. Even if you are a politician and you are an appointee, that means you also have a stake. And I, for example, I come from Edo South. I have a stake. I have run to be a council chairman before. In short, on the day of the primary, then the state, one of the state leaders called me and said, Governor Obaseki does not want this, some of you to come to the venue of the primary on that day. And if to our primary, we were called on phone not to appear, not to even come to the field. We called ourselves. We realized that, one, the interests of our supporters were also very important. What if we go there and it becomes violent? How are we going to manage the situation? We let go. Probably that was the party direction. And we moved on. I have also vied to be a commissioner, not just is a what, how do I put it? Is a right of the governor ordinarily to choose who becomes commissioner. But in some cases, also defer to party to de-nominate people. In short, I was one of the first runners. In short, endorsed by 11 wards out of 12 to go and represent as commissioner. But at the end of the day, he didn't go my way. Heaven didn't fall. We also let go. There are so many other persons like that. But in a situation where, because some persons who are in government are not supporting you, you begin to fabricate stories and indeed begin to state things that are not there, that they are pressured from the governor, which is not true. But even at that, the governor also is a politician too. And if I'd come before the governor with sense of humility, and he has also checked my record, and you have also come to the governor acting like I am the Lord, I'm even the Lord over you, for example, and with access of arrogancy, do you think anybody will always send you to such a mission or will support you in such a mission? He may not support anybody. He may say, okay, go and have a free day. I think that was what happened in Edo. There were free days. For houses of assembly, so many people bought forms and wanted to participate. Discussion, negotiation by those who were concerned continue. And in most cases, in some local government or constituency, it was just 2 people that went to the field. In some cases, they were unopposed. Like Oredo West, for example, where I come from, nobody bought from there. It was unopposed. House of Assembly member. He even came from Labour Party to join us. That means his services to humanity and to the constituency was friendly and was good. In the other constituency that made the second constituency, in my local government, over 17 people bought from. And the incumbent couldn't even return back in the House of Assembly. So if the government was supposed to be really sided, maybe he would have sided incumbent and said, these are already seated House of Assembly members. Let me coerce people at all levels to support them. You also saw, for example, in Owan, for example, where it was said that even the majority leader, House of Representatives, did not even return back. Did not even return back because their own constituency believe that he has done 8 years and they have an arrangement between each local government. So they also have their reason. If the governor was coercive, maybe the governor will bend their hand and say, this is my friend. And he's very close to the presidency. He must return back. So how best can you want an independence of a system that I have just stated? And there are still more to state. If truly you want me to continue to state them. So the governor today, have you heard the governor talk on TV arrogantly to anybody? No. But that doesn't make him weak. That doesn't mean that anybody can just come, blackmail him, ride on him, and nothing will happen. No, it's not supposed to be. When you have a father that is caring, that is open, you must take advantage of it. But when you begin to be rude to your father, and your father continually pay your school fees, continually take good care of you, it will get to a time, your father will then understand that every expenses I'm making on this time probably will be futile or will be a waste. So let me then retreat. So that is how politics also is. Let us understand and call a spade when we need to call a spade a spade.
The first is the belief in many quarters, including in Edo State, that Nyesom Wike, Minister of the FCT, has to a very large extent influenced the emergence of Honorable Engineer Omoyege Ugbede Ihama as the flag bearer of your party in those South Senatorial districts. That's number one. Number two is the Pastor Ezeyamo angle of it. Like I mentioned at the top of this conversation, is a prominent member of your party. In fact, he's referred to by many as the, well, Edo South leader of the APC. Plus, he's a founding member. And then we understand that he was very instrumental to the emergence of Senator Monday Okpebholo as the then gubernatorial candidate of the APC. Would you say, of course, this is my second question to you, that there's now some bad blood between your principal, the governor, and Pastor Ezeyamo?
You would have taken it 1-1, so I can match at them. One and after.
Let's begin with the Wike angle. Is Nyesom Wike, Minister of the FCT, an influence? Has he been an influence in the emergence of Omoyegi Ogbede Ihama?
Now, let me tell you, just as I am now, I am a very loyal boy of the president. Everybody knows that. For the fact that the president has not given me appointment in Abuja, when the president was to be elected from primary down, I used to be on television. I would kneel down, I would be crying, begging people to nominate Asiwaju. Then he won ever since. If, for example, I want to run for House of Rep tomorrow, will it be an offense if I go before Asiwaju and show him memories of how I've been there for him and ask him to support me? And he say, my son, go. Anywhere I can support you, I will support you. I do not think it's a crime. First, Nyesom Wike have not come to Edo or stand in any podium or have a television conversation anywhere with anybody and say you must vote for Ogbede Ihama. People just assume. For the fact that you are my friend, when you were in ITV, you were one of my closest anchors. Anytime you're on stage, I fancy it. I like to be your guest because you are there. For all the period, all those years I saw you on ITV, anytime I get invite from you, it excites me. But when some persons to give me invite, I get bored because even as they are asking you questions, them themselves are answering your question. So that is how politics is. It is segmentation. Now, those accusing Wike, for example, Pastor Sage Ezeyamo was also a friend of Nyesom Wike. Nyesom Wike have also assisted Pastor Sage Ezeyamo in previous elections that he has contested. So, but at that time, Wike was not an evil man. Wike was not bad. Wike's name was not the same way Wike was his friend. The same way Wike is also Ogbede Ihama's friend. So why push Wike in and just want to give somebody a name? But even at that, there was nothing wrong if Wike chooses to be Ogbede Ihama's friend and chooses to support him with finance or anything in running an election. After all, Wike is a nationalist. Wike is not segmentized to only Rivers State. Wike has tried to be a president of this country, and by so doing, he has gone around this country and he has made friends across this country. Wike's structure in PDP is still very alive across the country, and that is why today he still controls the aim of their service party. So, in such a situation, people must always consult people. So, even if there are videos where Ogbede Ihama have consulted with Wike, it's not a crime because if I have my way, I will also consult with Wike for my future political aspiration. So, those who are accusing Wike, like Pastor Ezeyamo camp has consistently said that, which you agree, because that is why you are pairing to them. Nada Emerson was in the race. You have not brought this issue ever. Now, let me tell you, was Pastor Sage Ezeyamo not also seeking favor from the office of the First Lady because they are both Redeemer? Did they not say Adeboye has already done it for him? Yeah, Adeboye has asked the president that they must give it to Pastor Sage Ezeyamo. All those things were also flying. So which one are we going to take? Now, will anybody now blame him because he went to meet Adeboye or because he went to meet BC Akande to help him, for example, the president's best friend? Nobody will accuse him because when you want to aspire for anything or when you intend to achieve anything, anybody who can help you can help you. The problem that people always have is that sometimes when they now get the head, they turn back against those who have helped them, which is bad. And when you turn back against those who have helped you and you want to aspire again tomorrow, they are no longer helping you. It becomes a crime. It becomes an offense. If yesterday you went to meet Wike to help you, maybe Wike helped you and you lost an election, you never called Wike again to even say thank you. Not minding that you know both in resources and in capacity how that person helped you. And you want to aspire again. Shame will not allow you go to the same person. and then you are now accusing another person probably that will now also be favored by who favored you yesterday. So all of those things are just normal political bombasm in order to bring another man down or bring another person down. These two contestants or three contestants we are talking about are our children. One who has served us for 8 years in the red, and he was chairman Senate Committee on Culture and Tourism. We, the cultural people, which Edo is known for, we saw how he represented us. Some of us from this constituency, my Oredo, for example, at the point we have opportunity of traveling outside this country on a tourism matter, it was the same Ogbede Yama who did not ask them who were our parents. I ended up not going for that trip because something happened. I had to return back from Lagos. Those other my friends, most of other my friends, some of them are even still supporting the Pastor Sage Zeyamuna, for example, went on that trip with Ogbede Yama letter of recommendation to the embassy. And it went through for them. They have gone, they return back, they are here. Now, with that person, is it every honorable member you will call at a critical time and they will answer you? It is not. So at that time, we called him, we put a call across, and immediately he asked his team to put the document on ground and forward it to the embassy on their behalf. That is representation. I'm just citing that as an example. So the issue of Wike, they should let the sleeping dog lie so that those who will help them in the future, they will not so by themselves go and stand it. Because anybody can seek help from anywhere. I wake up every morning, I seek my help from God, and I also beg God, please, the people you want to use here on earth to help me, don't allow them to be far from me. That is the prayer of everybody. Even if they are in Jamaica, let it look as if they are right here in Benin with me. It doesn't matter the distance. With phone call, somebody can change your life and change your destiny. So let us maintain the peace we are supposed to maintain so that we can move forward, so that our supporters will not be meant to suffer in the nearest future. Because if, as a leader, as you are misbehaving, and those who believe in you are also joining you to misbehave, there are usually consequences in politics. That is what some of us have suffered for many years because we were just supporting blindly. Those you are even supporting will not tell you the reality, will not tell you the truth. Even when they are putting peace on board, they will not even bring you on board at the point of negotiation and peace. Even when some will even get a remuneration for what probably they feel they have spent or as a way of compensation, they won't even tell you that was almost dying for them. So sometimes in this game, even as a followers, based on your former question, some followers, are they blindfolded or they are just followers because they need to be followed? Some are blindfolded. Some are taking opportunity to leverage on another person's issue to ventilate what they are not supposed to ventilate, assuming that the person send them. In some cases, they send them. In some cases, they don't send them. Now you can see what happened. When Ogbede Yama got his certified result, he went to His Majesty and said election was conducted.
All right, incidentally, I'm going to have to bump in on you there. We're taking a quick break, Comrade Osagai. That will allow you to join us, and then we can extend this conversation a little further. We appreciate your thoughts so far. We'll join you again. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Hello and thank you for joining us. The rains are gradually becoming more organized across the country and many areas have recorded a decent amount of rainfall over the past few days. So if you've been enjoying the cooler temperatures lately, well, there's more on the way. So now let's talk about what to expect heading into Tuesday. An overnight weather system is expected to trigger more thunderstorms across parts of Taraba, Adamawa, the Federal Capital Territory, Kaduna, parts of Nasarawa, Niger, and Kogi State. So if you live in any of this area, you may want to keep that umbrella nearby before heading out in the morning. And for those of you along the coastal and the southeastern region, including Lagos, parts of Oyo and Ogun State, expect a wet start of the day with widespread morning rains likely during the early hours. Don't be surprised if the skies stay cloudy for most of the morning. But that's not all. By late afternoon, another round of rainfall and thunderstorms are expected to redevelop, affecting parts of the northwest, including Gombe, Bauchi, parts of Adamawa, Taraba, much of the north central region, and several cities across the southern half of the country. So for what we're seeing, the atmosphere is becoming increasingly active and more wet weather is expected to continue over the next couple of days. Stay weather aware, and I'll see you again. Thank you for watching.
I would like to appreciate Comrade Collins Amadi Osaga, the Special Advisor to Edo State Governor on Digital Resource for staying with us on the program. So, Collins, I know you didn't quite land on your thoughts there. Maybe you can stretch it a bit further as part of this next question Priscilla is going to ask you.
Okay, so I don't know if it really relates, but let me ask anyways. Governor of Bebolo, right? He came into the APC with promises of unity, but a few months later, we're seeing a crackdown within the APC. Does it mean that he's losing structure of, the APC in Edo State? I mean, the party structure.
I don't know if you can hear me clearly.
I can.
Good. Good. Now, when you say he came with the mantra of unity, the governor himself is unity. He himself, seeing him, is already seen as unity. There's nothing anybody can do about that. And that is why you saw that there's no fragmentation in Edo politics, in APC. Because if you do, the people will ordinarily cost you and tell you must be very wicked. With this kind of person that is so simplified like this, he's not only simplified, he's working. He's a working man. You can see the infrastructure. You can see the human relation. You can see so many things he's doing. Who am I for ordinarily to be a special advisor to the government? Ordinarily, if it's some other person, they will ask, who is my father? How many chains of estate do I have? How many cars do I drive? Who are in my convoy? What kind of vehicle do I drive? But behold, he's not that kind of a person. He assesses you based on who you are, what you can offer. He gives you opportunity. The same way the party structure, since he came in, if he was some other government, even members of all the parties, he would have just changed them by this Congress that just ended. Majority of them would have been flushed out from the state working committee to the local government and to the world level. No, he believes that if it's fine for everybody, let's continue to go on. He doesn't like issues, but because he doesn't like issues, doesn't mean somebody will not just want to start undermining the office of a governor. No. And even when some of them want to make such an attempt, he's still not acting up on it. He still believes that he's one family. He still believes in harmony. He still preaches peace. That is leadership. But in leadership, you cannot continue to preach this and not work modality for your sustainer. That is on one hand. So even as much as he's still preaching it, if some persons are not ready to key into the agenda, then it's nobody to be blamed. Neither would you blame the governor. I am even sure those who are acting the way they are acting, some of them have tested Obaseki before. They have tested some other governors before. They know what it is. Some of them had to run away completely from Benin and relocate to Abuja. Some even outside the country. Because when Obaseki is coming, he's like a masquerade. They'll tell you a masquerade is coming and they all be running away. Even those who are not raising their head now, majority of them couldn't even talk. We were the ones in the field. We were the ones talking. They all ran away because they had property. They didn't want their property to be demolished. They had businesses. They didn't want overtax in their businesses. They want this. They didn't want problem. They didn't want their housing tax rent to even get more than the price. Even get more than the money that was used in building the house alone in 1 year. So these are issues. Now, when God gives you something, you must appreciate it. This governor is not like that. He has been working on peace. That is why you see today in Edo, there is nothing fashionable. Apart from in this very primary where our leader, Pastor Sagi Andrew Izeyamu, and two other young men, we cannot verify their identity, went somewhere and declared him as a winner of the contest, which they gave him the figure. But the one that was conducted by the National Working Committee, where even Senator Nada, the incumbent senator, keyed into, even though that one said before he got to the field, they probably have voted and left. Maybe he didn't leave the house early enough. You know, depending. If they said it was to go 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, you expect that even those contesting as early as 6 o'clock, their agent should have been there. But I cannot really tell what happened in his venue because I know he's a very gentle senator who does not believe in violence, who does not believe in coercing people. So Senator Nada, I turn for him. He's my very good friend. I turn for him because he has shown leadership. If I have my way tomorrow to queue behind him for anything, nobody will even, I don't need anybody to tell me to do or not to do. I will squarely stand behind Senator Nada Emerson. So my sister, there is no contradiction. Okay, please, can you go back to your other, there were two basic questions you were asking. You have picked one and it was left with two so that I can trash those two.
My second question to you, Comrade Osaga, is when you look at the role that Pastor Sagi Izeyamu played in the election that, as it were, produced the government of, or that ensured the emergence of Senator Mode Okpebholo as governor of Edo State, vis-a-vis where both gentlemen, I mean Pastor Sagi Izeyamu and the governor, are today in terms of their political relationship, would you quite frankly say that something has not changed?
I don't think so, because the governor is a rewarder of labor, even if he has not rewarded so many people, because the trench of support he got was across the country. He saw the support and the love the governor got from primary to the May election. I don't think any individual in this life has gotten such a kind of support. But we give it to him and we thank his staff and the God that brought him. Pastor Sagi Izeyamu did very well and the best he can, to supporting the amendment. But he also didn't do it alone. We were the people that were carrying him and supporting him before. So we were also the first 11 in the field for Pastor Sagi Izeyamu. So it was a collective decision to also say, okay, since this thing, the Eastern feels it should come to that constituency, or the party at the national also feels, oh, that area should also have some sense of belonging. Then we had meetings. We had first meeting, we had second meeting before Senator then came and joined us and appealed for continuous support. That is say somebody must support someone someday. When Pastor Sagi Izeyamu had contested for governor twice, His Excellency Senator Mode Okpebholo was very instrumental in all of his primary, in all of his main elections. He was not a senator. He was not too active politically. He was not spreading or known too much in place. At each year of those two major gubernatorial contests that Pastor Sagi Izeyamu have veered into, Senator Mode Okpebholo has supported him handsomely with finance, has supported him with his structure, especially in the Esan constituency. When anytime he goes to Esan land, Pastor Sagayemu told us that Senator Mondo Okpebholo was taking responsibility of what it was costing him to run campaign in the Eastern constituency. That means the man has been there for him too, not once, not twice. But when the governor to himself wanted to run for Senate, Pastor Sage Zeyamas at that time did not also see reason to support him. He did not support Senator Mondo Okpebholo, not minding that this man has helped him twice in governorship election. But Senator did not also cry. He understood that it was politics. Maybe that other person, the pastor was supporting, had approached pastor first before he came. So based on that, he understood. And he took it because there will always be another day. He that another day that came, that he now also said, please, I am running for governorship. Please, you now support me. If it is not you, if it is me, support me. And that was the alignment. And which actually now came to bear. Even at that, I am sure that some of the logistics, pastor may have also spent by the time he got informed that we were all supporting with him. Probably he must also have been also compensated, for those losses that he have also made. And when this government also came, he was very relevant. And the governor was always with him. He was always with the governor. And he can also tell us whether as a level of local contractor or not, or in any format, that he has not benefited from the governor. When the wife was to become the CMD of UBTH, for example, the governor also played a vital role, which they also told us on TV. Pastor and his wife, when they visited the governor on a thank you visit, that he supported them in making sure the wife emerged. So all of these things I'm saying are things that are obvious. So that same man who had to also support you because you also supported him, also supported your wife to become a CMD, for example, of a UBTH. A UBTH is like a state. I am sure you know that the vote, the budget, the overhead cost of UBTH running, some states in this country does not even have it. Pastor Sage Zeyamu is also the head of University of Benin fundraising program that they are doing. That means he is also very busy too. And if the governor is not supportive of you, if the governor does not like you, if there are acrimony between him and the governor, I am sure all of these things will not be there. So we can ask him, when last was his conversation with the governor? They have been friends. If maybe the relationship may have soured in recent times, probably because the governor did not raise his hand up and said, this is my sole candidate. Every other person have also supported. Not minding that Ogbede Yama wanted to also contest as a governor during their own primary while in PDP. And Ogbede Yama had a structure across the entire state too. When he left before the primary, owing to his disagreement with Obaseki, who also invaded their party and tore that party apart, he collapsed all of his structure. So, Mondo Okpebholo structure. And probably at that point also say, please, when I also need you to support me, don't tell me you won't support me, please. I am not asking you for money. I am even committing my resources, my structure, my supporters into your game. Please, when the time comes, support me. And because the governor is not the type probably that betray, and maybe Pastor also came and want to also be in the race. And what does he now do among two friends? One pleaded that I will run for Senate. Please, when the time comes, please, you will give me your support. While the other one probably said, this is our government. I will make sure we run it together and we succeed and everybody will be proud of you. Fine. In running it together is different, is also in another ballgame itself. It can be in building roads together, building schools together, getting people employed together in different facets. Pastor Sage Zeyamu have not come to the public to cry to anybody that the governor had not been listening to his advice or his counsel at any time, if not for this issue of primary. So you can't have it all the time. You probably may have also been enjoying some part you are enjoying. And the other man too also said, don't forget, I pleaded with you that if time comes, I may aspire for this. Please support me. Instead, two friends, okay, both of you go to the field. Mobilize your people. After all, they are your constituencies. Let them decide. And decide to stay neutral as much as he can. Or because some of his supporters or his aides are now having soft spot for the other man, does that mean the governor has coerced them? I am an aide of the governor. Yes, special advisor to the governor. Can the governor tie my hand and tie my leg and force me? Even when I was an aide to Shomole, as SSA to Shomole, there were a lot of issues with Shomole brass at that time. I deviated. When Shomole wanted us to support a particular candidate in my constituency then for House of Representatives, I deviated and I supported another person that comes from my constituency, Honorable Razaki Bello, because it was from my work, it was from my place. And beyond that, I also felt I needed to support him. Adams did not sack me. Adams did not say heaven must fall. We still left that constituency, and after the primary, we all come together and work together. That is how it should be. Let people not just because of one day, put all different forms of social media people on here, tell them to start false information, things that are not there. No, that is not how you know sportsmanship. A sportsman is a person who puts himself down. When you win, you understand. When you lose, you re-strategize to go for another one. That is who is called a sportsman. So the governor is a wonderful person.
Incidentally, time again will fail us to discuss this any further, Honorable Osaga. But your thoughts are very clear on this. I mean, both from the side of your principal, the state governor, Senator Monday Okpebholo, and those who, I mean, the two gentlemen who have actually had to slug it out over the ticket for Senatorial District of Edo South. We'd like to thank you for the insights, very valuable, that you shared with us on the program this morning. And here is wishing you the best of your day ahead.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Please send me word to my sister over there. I hope to join you up soon.
All right, so let's take a quick break now, everyone, at this point. When we return, we'll look at primaries within political parties, especially as it has to do with the All Progressives Congress and the African Democratic Congress. What exactly do they mean for the 2027 general election? Please do stay with us. Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
In an age of breaking news, you need a trusted source that prioritizes accurate, factual, and unbiased reporting. This is AM News, and I am Ubong Osoro.
On Global Television, our news is rooted in verified and authoritative storytelling that keeps you educated, informed, and enlightened on all the issues that matter to you. I am Sadia Yakubu. This is Midday News.
You can trust our multi-platform news broadcast real-time and fast-check stories for all the big local and foreign headlines round the clock. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. This is News Express.
Our array of anchors delivers the news to our teeming viewers, breaking it down with context and perspective. This is News Cycle on Global Television. I am Anieti Patrick.
and the flagship news is your hub for the day's most engaging stories. This is News Prime, and I am Jumai Manson.
Did you miss any of our news rounds? No worries. Catch up at 10 p.m. and midnight, 7 days of the week. I am Mukhtar Kasim.
Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. We're active across all social media platforms at Global TV NG.
Global TV News, accurate and unbiased. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe. Let's move things a notch higher now, still talking politics, but this time from a broad-based perspective. We're joined virtually from Lokoja, the capital of Kogi State, by Solace Omolaye. He's a researcher and a public affairs commentator. Solace, would like to appreciate you for your time and patience on the program this morning. All right, perhaps one way to get started is to ask what your assessment has been regarding the primaries conducted so far by political parties, with a particular focus on the APC and the ADC.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, am I audible, please?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead. Did you get the question?
Please, can I have the question again?
I don't know if you got the question.
No. Can I have the question
again? Okay, if you didn't get the question, I can go all over it again. My question to you is, what's your assessment of the primaries conducted so far by the African Democratic Congress and the ruling All Progressives Congress?
All right. Good morning to my distinguished presenters and viewers across the world. Regarding the question, ADC ought to be a new party that should have shown a new ideology, and the tests of their difference should have come from this present primary, which was just conducted. But in my perspective, I will say they have done nothing different from what have been the order of the day in other existing parties. And I have not seen anything positive from the outcome of the primaries.
Just concluded primaries within the APC.
You said?
Did you get me? I also want to know your perspective on the just concluded primaries in the APC, the ruling party.
Yes, of course, that is what I have just proposed, that ADC, the African Democratic Congress, have done nothing different from the norms that is always obtainable from existing parties and even the governing party as now. And from the primaries of the APC, I will say that we have come to a worst scenario. Yes, a worst scenario. I'm speaking from my view. I'm speaking from my perspective of what I was able to gather on the field, of what I experienced and I'm still experiencing. It will shock you, to know that as at this point, I am from Okene Ogori Magungu Federal Constituency. And as far as APC is concerned, we are yet to be sure who is our candidate. As far as APC is concerned, we are yet to be sure who is the flag bearer for the House of Representatives regarding Okene Ogorimagongo Federal Constituency. This is because after the purchase of forms, the screening that was done, and on the very day that the primary election ought to be conducted, we were made to understand a list going viral on the social media about cleared and uncleared aspirants. This list becomes highly controversial because we are having two different lists flying around the social media. One was showing some candidates are cleared, while the other were showing that the same candidate is uncleared. Then we received information from the National Working Committee that results ought not to be announced in the states. This is the first time we are experiencing such. Results are usually collated and announced at the collation center and taken to the national. But as it is now, as at today, we are yet to know who is our flag bearer in APC. This shows that our mode of primary and our mode of election is getting worse day by day. Because as it is now, the aspirant announced to be the winner in Okene Ogorimagongo constituency is in unclear list, purported unclear list. Is in one purported unclear list. So we are all stranded and yet to know our candidates. Same happens to Kogi West senatorial candidacy. We are yet to know who is the candidate from Kogi West. Same thing in Kogi East. So I will say from my own perspective that we are moving from bad to worse as far as primary election is being conducted in Nigeria, especially from where I come from.
Look at this development studies. What does it say beyond political lines? All right, what does it say about internal politics, about party leadership in our country? Because from your own assessment and commentary, apparently the status quo has not changed one bit.
The status quo has changed. It has moved from bad to worse. I'm choosing my words properly. It has moved from bad to worse. Is that okay? Internal democracy is being weakened day by day by the stakeholders. When the INEC guidelines came, when the electoral bill was signed into law, we were made to understand that there are two modes of primary that will be conducted, which is direct primary or the consensus. The direct primary ought to give the party members the chance to choose who will be their candidates. But as it is today, if primaries has been conducted and it is called direct primary, and the National Working Committee are saying that the results should not be announced at the state collation center, why should that be the mode to go by? It means that there will be avenue where things that happens here at the locals that should be announced at the collation center can be manipulated at any point in time. And I'm telling you that over a week that this primary is being held, we are yet to know who is our candidates. That goes a long way to say that internal democracy is really being weakened day by day. The voice of the people is being subjugated day by day. Hello? Hello, are we there? Hello, are we there? Hello, presenters, are we there? I can't hear you.
Up with Global Morning, your daily guide to what's happening and making the rounds.
We delve into headlines, newspaper reviews, spot-on analysis, policies, current events, real talk, real issues that affect us all.
From the latest trends to the debate, every topic, every angle, Global Morning is where it all starts.
Global Morning,
For the latest issues,
always on point.
Watch Global Morning Monday to Friday at 7 a.m. Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. on Global Television.
Oh, it appears so.
It appears that the audio is still quite a challenge, but he was essentially highlighting how that there's still so much of, if you like, tangling around the results of the primaries across Kogi State. And he talked about Ogori Magongo, which, of course, again, is an integral part of Kogi West Senatorial District. We understand that ticket, the senatorial ticket for Kogi Central, I should say, is it's a two-horse race of some kind between the incumbent Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan and former Governor Yahya Bello. All right, so it's quite a tough one. But I understand our guest is back now.
Well, okay, are you there, Sulis? Can you hear us?
Yes, clearly.
So I wanted to, the very result you are clearly not happy with. You have even said that it has not been announced publicly. Basically, people are speculating, from results that have been released to social media, but from collation centers, nothing has officially been said. Is it the same results that, had former governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, emerge as victorious?
Well, yes. I'm speaking collectively using my own place where I come from as a case study.
Okay.
And I'm saying that as far as APC is concerned, in most parts of Nigeria, we are just having speculative results. In most parts of Nigeria, we are yet to have results and to know candidates as far as APC is concerned. And I made an example that in Okene Ogori Magongo federal constituency, we have on the day of primary an unclear list that circulated on social media. And one of the aspirants in the unclear list purportedly emerged as the winner in that primary election. Now, the National Working Committee has instructed that all results announced at Collation Center might not stand. But over a week right now, we are yet to have the results from the National Working Committee. Let's remember that this I brought in to answer the question about internal democracy in parties, within parties. And I'm saying that from what we have witnessed in these few weeks, the internal democracy within party is getting weakened day by day.
Okay, I clearly understand. So what you are speculating from all these activities, the National Working Committee coming out to say results from collation centers do not stand, and then putting or keeping voters on suspense or in suspense to a clear result from the elections. What do you suspect is going on behind the scene?
Of course, if it's about suspicion, it shows clearly that there are some manipulations going on that we are not aware of. The power brokers are sitting and they are transacting within themselves on how to go by. Because if it is election, there is nothing that should hinder or should limit results coming forth within 24 hours after collation, except there are some power blocks that are interested, there are clashes of interest. And as we have always seen in Nigeria, those power blocks always defeat the masses. So I am suspecting clashes of interest between the power blocks, and I am expecting manipulation of results that will come at a time where we have no option than to just accept as people. Yeah.
That sounds interesting, quite frankly. But I want us to talk about the place of INEC. Every time we have elections, in some cases, including internal democracy as we have it now, primary elections, we say, well, it's because INEC didn't play its parts, INEC didn't do its beats. And then, on the other hand, we say, well, it's the Electoral Act 2022. Later, we have the Electoral 2026 now. We say, well, there are still gaps. There are certain issues that should have been addressed by way of moving from 2022 to 2026. Are we just trapped in the web of bulk passing, or are we genuinely highlighting the problems so we can find a way to address them?
Well, the truth is, in Nigeria, knowing the problem is not actually the challenge. We all know the problem of our electoral system, but then we have a system where the bourgeoisies always find their way through. The bourgeoisies always look for loopholes, create loopholes that they can take advantage of. So yes, the people are caught in the web. Whenever you think things should be done or can be done right, they will create a loophole that will give them avenue to take advantage of for their interests. So there is no way that an ordinary Nigerian will boast that yes, my right or my vote is going to count. The INEC have lots to play, but then let's ask ourselves, who are those that brought in the INEC officials? If the power is still vested on politicians to nominate, to appoint INEC chairman, of course, he who pays the piper will always dictate the tune.
So ultimately, you're saying the process in bringing in the INEC chairman should be something we should reconsider, look into. At the same time, I want to really say that the INEC is at this point, having to deal with its own issues. Recently, there were court rulings back and forth on, the Electoral Act and the timeline that was imposed on political parties in order to, upload data and put together all data, before the set date INEC had given. The court has come out to say, oh, there is another date, and politicians are trying to take advantage of it. It puts INEC at that point where it is, also trying to grapple with the changes that are coming with whatever this, court cases and court rulings are. But at the same time, it has a responsibility of upholding, our electoral system to ensure free and fair elections. So, do we say everything happening right now is happening so fast? Is it more of a reactive response? Is it that INEC did not do its homework well? Is it that we are not there yet? We did not. When I say we, our representatives at the Senate and everyone that came together to put signing that law. Is it that the assignment was not carried out well? Is it that things were not duly considered? We did not consider the time factor. Things were not clearly put into perspective, and hence we are having the dilemma we're having right now in the electoral space that is affecting even primaries, and I really do feel it's part of what is, giving INEC a hard time, basically because of the distractions.
Well, I will say we are not yet there, and we are not working to be there. The situation of the country has gone beyond what is expected of our age. We are over 40 years in independence, 46 to be specific, but we are still behaving as a baby nation when it comes to electioning, when it comes to electoral bills and all that. You will see that electoral bills are not properly worked on, electoral bills are not properly discussed, electoral bills are not properly debated at the House. Then you will just hear overnight that there is an electoral bill amendments and all that and all that, all that. Of course, there are going to be lots of issues, challenges that will affect such electoral bill that is rushingly put in place in disguise by people with interest. And when you rush to put things in place only for a particular interest, without opening it up for the public to make inputs, without putting it up for the National Assembly to debate properly, you will always have loopholes that the courts or the judiciary will always come back to say, this is not how it should be, this is how it should be. The recent electoral bill, we all are aware when the masses have to come out to protest that some section of the electoral bill is not what it should be, especially regarding registration of political parties, especially regarding the dates that we are put in place. All these things were not thoroughly debated on, were not thoroughly looked into, because that were never their interest. Their interest were something else, but they have to masquerade it as electoral reform. So until we get to the point where the National Assembly is ready to sit up and do a thorough job on our electoral bill once and for all, we will always be going to and fro regarding our electoral timing and otherwise.
Ask you this. When you look at all of these developments we're seeing, as disturbing as you have painted the picture, would you say our political system has been hijacked by money bags, or is it just a question of the fact that as a country we're still learning the democratic process?
We are not learning anything, because year pass, year comes, and we are still in the same web. Yes, we are still hijacked in the same web. So it is not a matter of we are learning. It is a matter of a set of people are always putting us in a web that can't be controlled for their interests. We have experienced lawmakers. The country has gone far and wide. We have attended and actually have experience from other countries, civilized countries, on how things are done well. So our problem is not the problem of learning. Our problem, as I've said earlier, is the problem of few people, bourgeoisies, who are always looking for how loopholes are created in our electoral laws that they can always take advantage of. That is where we are. We know what we are doing. Our elites knows what they are doing. So it is not a matter of try and error. No, it is create a loophole that we can take advantage of when the times come. And that is what Nigerians are experiencing.
Is it the politicians or Nigerians?
I've made clearly the difference. We are all Nigerians, both the politicians, the elites, the masses, we are all Nigerians. But I said, a set of people, bourgeoisies, political elites, I differentiate them. And I said they are in charge of creating these loopholes to take advantage of when it is time. But of course, we are all Nigerians.
This set of people, or the common Nigerian that feels their votes will count?
Ma?
Who is more prepared? This set of people you just mentioned, I mean the elites, the people that you say create the loopholes to fit their own, agenda. And the Nigerians, those people that are clamoring for free and fair elections and hoping that 2027 their votes will count. Who would you say is more prepared?
More prevailing?
Who is more prepared?
Oh, who is more prepared? The elites are far ahead of the ordinary Nigerians. Yes, they are far ahead because as far as 2027 election is concerned, it is a done deal in their strategic table. And as I speak to you now, most of them are in the game and have strategized even for 2031 electionary process. But we Nigerians, we are always waiting for whatever you cook, we are going to try to manage to eat. If the Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians, the electorates are to up their games, it is not now. It should be whenever elections are being held and we discover loopholes in the election, we should take to the streets. We should raise our voices. Our activists and others should call the international bodies to look into what has gone wrong. But of course, Nigerians will always accept whatever that is being dished to them and try to endure before the next election, not knowing that the next election you are waiting for has been calculated by the elites long ago, and they are way past that.
I can imagine. Incidentally, Solace, we have also done our calculation here regarding time, and we realize that we are constrained, quite frankly. But we are very grateful for your time and thoughts on Global Morning today. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me around. It's a pleasure.
That's our program for you today. Thank you so very much, everyone, for watching. As always, we'd like to remind you that the views of all of our guests across all of our programs are their opinions. I'm Muyad Mufwebe.
And I am Priscilla Obasi, wishing you an amazing day.